Imagine stepping outside on the coldest day you've ever felt, that kind of chill that makes you shiver instantly, where your breath turns to ice the moment it leaves your lips. Now take that cold and multiply it by 5. That's just an average day for the Inuit. At minus 64 degrees Celsius or minus 84 degrees Fahrenheit, the Arctic isn't just cold, it's an entirely different reality. Metal snaps like glass. Exposed skin freezes solid in seconds, and the air itself feels like it's trying to steal every bit of warmth from your body. Your home freezer? That would feel like a warm summer breeze in comparison. Most people wouldn't last more than a few minutes in these conditions, but for the Inuit, this is home. While the rest of the world huddles indoors, cranking up the heat, they've mastered the art of survival in ways that defy logic. No modern heating, no thick walls, just knowledge passed down through generations, allowing them to live and even sleep comfortably in temperatures that would make most people crumble. This isn't just survival, it's an incredible display of human resilience, adaptation, and ingenuity. So how do they do it? Let's step into their world and uncover the secrets that allow them to thrive in the coldest place on Earth. Think about building a home where the temperature can drop to minus 64 degrees Celsius, using nothing but the very snow beneath your feet. It might seem impossible, but for the Inuit, this has been a perfected survival technique for generations. The igloo isn't just a shelter, it's an engineering masterpiece, designed to trap warmth and withstand the brutal Arctic environment. At first glance, it might look like just a pile of snow shaped into a dome, but its construction follows precise architectural principles that even modern engineers admire. The secret lies in its curved design. Each block of snow is carefully cut and arranged in a spiral, gradually tilting inward to create a self-supporting structure. This shape, known as a catenary curve, distributes weight evenly, making the igloo incredibly strong. It can withstand powerful winds, heavy snowfall, and even the occasional curious animal that might climb on top. But the real magic of the igloo isn't just in its structure, it's in the material itself. Snow might feel cold to the touch, but when compacted, it becomes an incredible insulator. Unlike solid ice, snow is packed with tiny air pockets that trap heat and prevent it from escaping. It's the same principle that makes a down jacket so warm. Once inside, the body heat of its occupants alone can raise the temperature significantly, sometimes even reaching a comfortable 10 to 15 degrees Celsius, while the world outside remains frozen solid. And here's something even more fascinating. Over time, the inner walls start to slightly melt from the warmth inside. As the temperature drops again, this thin layer refreezes, forming a smooth, icy shell that strengthens the structure even further. The igloo is essentially reinforcing itself, making it even sturdier the longer it stands. This isn't just survival. It's a perfect example of how knowledge passed down through generations allows humans to thrive in places where life seems impossible. In the heart of the Arctic, the igloo stands as a testament to ingenuity, proving that sometimes the simplest materials can create the most effective solutions. Surviving in the Arctic without modern heating might seem unimaginable, but the Inuit have mastered a way to stay warm using nothing but their own bodies and the design of their shelters. The igloo isn't just a structure, it's a carefully designed thermal system that turns the freezing cold into a livable space. Inside an igloo, there's no furnace, no electric heater, just the natural warmth generated by the people inside. The human body constantly produces heat, and in the confined space of an igloo, this warmth doesn't go to waste. With just a few occupants, the temperature inside can rise to a surprising 10 to 15 degrees Celsius, even when the world outside is locked in sub-zero conditions. But warmth alone isn't enough. You also need a way to keep that heat from escaping. That's where the dome shape of the igloo comes into play. The curved walls help trap warm air, keeping it circulating inside rather than letting it drift away. Hot air naturally rises, and the highest point of the igloo, where people sleep, becomes the warmest part. This allows the occupants to take full advantage of the heat they generate while minimizing exposure to the coldest air. Then, there's the entrance tunnel. It might look like a simple passageway, but it serves a crucial function in maintaining warmth. The tunnel is built lower than the main living area, creating a cold air trap. Cold air is denser than warm air, so instead of pooling inside the igloo, it sinks into the tunnel and stays there. This prevents the freezing air from creeping up and cooling down the main space. It's a perfect balance. Natural heat production, efficient circulation, and smart design all working together. The result? A shelter that transforms one of the coldest environments on Earth into a space warm enough for a restful night's sleep. Staying warm inside an igloo is one thing, but staying alive? That's where ventilation becomes a matter of life and death. With no windows, no chimneys, and an airtight dome of snow, you might think that sealing in the heat is the best strategy. But without proper airflow, an igloo can quickly turn from a life-saving shelter into a silent danger. At the top of every igloo, there's a small but essential vent hole. It may not look like much, but this tiny opening is what keeps the air inside safe to breathe. As people exhale, carbon dioxide builds up, and without an escape route, it can reach dangerous levels. This is why the vent is carefully placed. It allows fresh air to circulate while preventing heat from escaping too quickly. But ventilation does more than just keep the air fresh. It also plays a role in making the igloo even stronger. As the warm air inside rises, it comes into contact with the inner walls of packed snow. Some of this warmth causes a thin layer of the snow to melt ever so slightly. Then, as the cold Arctic air seeps through the vent, that moisture refreezes, creating a hardened ice layer. Over time, this process reinforces the walls, turning the igloo from a simple snow shelter into a solid, durable structure. It's a delicate balance, just enough ventilation to allow airflow, but not so much that the precious heat escapes. Too small, and the air inside becomes unsafe. Too big, and the warmth disappears. The Inuit have perfected this system over generations, creating a natural, self-sustaining cycle that keeps the igloo both warm and breathable. It's not just about surviving the cold, it's about understanding how to work with nature to create the perfect shelter in one of the harshest environments on Earth. In the Arctic, the wrong clothing isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. When temperatures drop to extremes, the key to survival isn't just staying warm, but also staying dry. That's why the Inuit developed a clothing system that's not only incredibly effective, but also perfectly adapted to their environment, using natural materials that outperform even the most advanced modern gear. Instead of piling on thick, heavy layers, Inuit clothing is designed for insulation and breathability. The secret? Layers that work together like a finely tuned machine. The innermost layer is made from caribou skin, worn with the fur facing inward. This isn't just for comfort. It wicks away moisture, pulling sweat off the body before it has a chance to freeze. In the Arctic, sweating can be deadly. If moisture stays trapped against the skin, it cools down rapidly, leading to dangerous heat loss. The caribou fur solves this problem, keeping the wearer dry and warm at the same time. The outermost layer is made from seal skin, worn with the fur facing outward. This acts as a shield against the elements. Seal skin is naturally waterproof and windproof, creating a barrier that blocks the brutal Arctic winds while keeping snow and ice from soaking through. The natural oils in the skin help repel moisture, making it far more effective than any synthetic raincoat. But what really makes this system so brilliant is its adjustability. Inuit clothing isn't just put on and forgotten, it's constantly adjusted to regulate body temperature. Too warm? Loosen a layer to let heat escape. Too cold? Tighten everything up to trap warmth. It's a built-in thermostat, designed by nature and perfected over generations. This traditional clothing isn't just about warmth, it's about survival. Every detail, from the choice of materials to the way the layers interact, is designed to keep the body at the perfect temperature, no matter how harsh the Arctic becomes. Getting a good night's sleep in the Arctic isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. When the temperature outside is cold enough to freeze exposed skin in seconds, you need more than just a blanket to stay warm. That's why the Inuit perfected a sleeping system that keeps them insulated, dry, and protected from the brutal cold, using materials that modern outdoor gear still struggles to match. At the heart of this system are their sleeping bags, made from a combination of seal skin and caribou fur. The outer layer, crafted from seal skin, acts as a natural shield against moisture. Snow, ice, and condensation can't penetrate it, keeping the inside completely dry. Unlike synthetic materials that become stiff and brittle in extreme cold, seal skin stays flexible, allowing the sleeping bag to remain soft and functional even in the harshest conditions. Inside, the real magic happens with caribou fur. Each individual hair is hollow, trapping air just like the insulation in a modern winter coat. This trapped air creates a barrier against the cold, keeping body heat contained within the sleeping bag. The result? A natural, highly efficient insulating system that keeps the sleeper warm even in temperatures that would otherwise be deadly. But warmth alone isn't enough. These sleeping bags also need to be durable and weather-resistant. That's where traditional stitching methods come in. Instead of using synthetic thread, the Inuit sew their sleeping bags with sinew, natural fibers taken from animal tendons. This isn't just a strong, flexible thread. It has a unique property that makes it perfect for Arctic conditions. When sinew gets wet, it swells, sealing the seams of the sleeping bag and making it even more resistant to wind and moisture. It's a sleeping system that's been perfected over generations, combining nature's best insulating materials with expert craftsmanship. No zippers, no synthetic padding, just a design so effective that even the coldest Arctic nights can't break through its warmth. While modern technology continues to evolve, the Inuit's traditional sleeping system remains one of the most impressive examples of survival ingenuity ever created. Falling asleep in the Arctic isn't as simple as crawling into a sleeping bag and hoping for the best. When the temperature outside can plummet to levels colder than dry ice, even the best insulation needs a little extra help. That's why the Inuit have mastered the art of pre-warming their sleeping areas, using an age-old technique that keeps them warm through the night, without modern heating. The secret? Hot stones. Carefully selected rocks are heated by the fire until they're almost too hot to touch. Once they've absorbed enough heat, they're wrapped in thick furs and strategically placed in sleeping areas. These stones work just like modern heating pads, slowly releasing warmth throughout the night, keeping the cold at bay while creating a comfortable space to sleep. But it's not just about placing them anywhere. There's a strategy to it. The most important spots for warmth are the feet and the core of the body, so stones are positioned near where people sleep, ensuring heat is distributed efficiently. Some stones are even tucked underneath the sleeping platforms, radiating warmth upward to prevent cold from seeping in from below. And here's where things get even more fascinating. As the heat from the stones meets the cold air inside the igloo, a thin layer of moisture forms on the nearby snow. Over time, this refreezes, creating an extra layer of ice that strengthens the structure while sealing in even more warmth. It's a natural cycle, using heat to create insulation, making the igloo stronger and more effective the longer it's used. This technique isn't just a clever trick, it's a necessity. In a world where temperatures can drop to lethal levels overnight, pre-warming a sleeping area can mean the difference between comfort and extreme cold. It's a simple yet highly effective way the Inuit have adapted to one of the harshest environments on Earth, proving once again that survival isn't just about endurance, it's about innovation. When surviving the Arctic cold, warmth isn't just about what you wear or where you sleep, it's about who you sleep next to. In a place where temperatures can drop low enough to freeze metal, the Inuit have long relied on the most reliable heat source of all: each other. Communal sleeping isn't just a cultural tradition, it's a carefully planned survival strategy that maximizes warmth and minimizes heat loss in some of the coldest conditions on Earth. Inside an igloo, family members sleep close together, creating a shared heat source. The more bodies in one space, the more warmth is generated, and when that warmth is trapped within the insulated walls of the igloo, it can significantly raise the temperature inside. A small group of people sleeping together can warm their immediate surroundings by as much as 40 degrees Fahrenheit, turning a space made of snow into a surprisingly cozy refuge. But body heat alone isn't enough. The way sleeping areas are arranged inside the igloo also plays a crucial role. Instead of sleeping directly on the frozen ground, the Inuit build slightly elevated sleeping platforms. Since warm air naturally rises, these raised areas sit in the warmest part of the igloo, allowing sleepers to take full advantage of the heat that gathers near the top. Meanwhile, the coldest air sinks to the lower entrance tunnel, ensuring it stays away from the people inside. Sleeping positions are also strategically chosen to retain as much warmth as possible. The Inuit often sleep curled up, reducing exposed surface area and conserving body heat. Children and elders, who are more vulnerable to the cold, are positioned in the warmest spots, often nestled between other family members for extra insulation. This isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. Every aspect of the sleeping arrangement, from the structure of the igloo to the way people position themselves, is designed to make the most of the heat available. It's a perfectly balanced system, proving once again that in the Arctic, knowledge and adaptation are just as important as warmth itself. In the Arctic, even the simple act of breathing can be a challenge. With air so cold, it can freeze exposed skin in seconds. Inhaling without protection can be like swallowing ice. But the Inuit have developed techniques to conserve heat with every breath, ensuring their bodies lose as little warmth as possible while staying safely oxygenated in one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth. The first rule of breathing in extreme cold: always breathe through the nose. The human nose acts like a natural heater, warming and humidifying incoming air before it reaches the lungs. In sub-zero temperatures, this can mean the difference between maintaining body heat and losing it rapidly. Air taken in through the mouth bypasses this natural warming process, sending freezing air straight to the lungs, forcing the body to expend more energy just to compensate. The Inuit also practice controlled breathing to reduce heat loss. Instead of taking quick, shallow breaths that would rapidly expel warmth, they use slower, deeper breaths that allow the air to warm gradually before being exhaled. This technique, known as respiratory heat exchange, minimizes the loss of body heat with each breath while also preventing excess moisture loss, which can lead to dehydration in the dry Arctic air. But there's another layer to this survival strategy, literally. Many Inuit wear fur-lined hoods or wrap parts of their clothing over their faces, creating a barrier that pre-warms the air before they inhale it. As they exhale, their breath condenses in the fur, trapping warmth and humidity. This not only makes the next breath warmer, but also prevents frost from forming inside the clothing, keeping everything dry and insulating for longer. In the Arctic, every bit of warmth matters, and even the way you breathe can be the difference between staying comfortable and losing critical body heat. Through centuries of adaptation, the Inuit have mastered this balance, proving that sometimes the simplest techniques, like how you inhale and exhale, can be just as important as the shelter you sleep in or the clothes you wear. In the Arctic, food isn't just nourishment, it's fuel for survival. When temperatures drop to extremes, the body has to work overtime to generate enough heat to stay warm. That's why the Inuit diet is carefully adapted to provide long-lasting energy, relying on high-fat, high-calorie foods that keep the body's internal furnace burning through the coldest nights. Unlike modern diets that often limit fat intake, the Inuit embrace it as their primary energy source. Whale blubber, seal meat, and fish are staples, packed with the kind of slow-burning calories needed to maintain warmth in freezing conditions. Fat provides more than twice the energy of carbohydrates or protein, making it the most efficient way to fuel the body when survival depends on heat retention. But it's not just about what they eat, it's about when they eat. Meals are often timed strategically, with high-fat foods consumed before sleeping, to create a slow release of energy throughout the night. This acts like an internal heater, keeping body temperature stable for hours. The digestion of these rich foods generates heat from the inside out, helping to counteract the brutal cold without the need for external heat sources. Raw and minimally processed foods are also a key part of this diet, preserving essential nutrients and fats in their most beneficial form. While modern science has only recently begun to understand the advantages of this kind of nutrition, the Inuit have known for centuries that their traditional diet isn't just about sustenance. It's a survival tool, fine-tuned to keep them warm, strong, and resilient. Surviving the Arctic isn't just about physical endurance, it's a mental game. When temperatures are so cold, they can freeze flesh in seconds. Fear and stress can become just as dangerous as the elements themselves. That's why the Inuit have developed a unique mindset around sleep, one that allows them to rest peacefully, even in the harshest conditions. One of the most powerful tools they use is storytelling. Passed down through generations, these tales aren't just for entertainment. They teach survival through humor and wisdom. Some stories feature hunters so comfortable in their igloos that they sleep right through the arrival of spring, while others poke fun at those who fear the cold too much. This kind of humor isn't just for fun. It builds confidence, reinforcing the idea that the cold isn't something to fear, but something to understand and adapt to. This mindset goes even deeper. The Inuit practice a form of psychological adaptation that allows them to remain calm in extreme temperatures. Stress and panic can make the body tense up, increasing heat loss and making the cold feel even worse. Instead, they focus on relaxation techniques, slowing their breathing, conserving energy, and mentally embracing the warmth they generate rather than fixating on the cold around them. Modern science has proven what the Inuit have always known. Stress raises cortisol levels, which can actually make you feel colder. By maintaining a calm, confident mindset, they help their bodies retain heat, ensuring they sleep more comfortably despite the freezing temperatures. For the Inuit, surviving the Arctic isn't just about having the right clothing or shelter. It's about having the right state of mind. Through humor, tradition, and a deep understanding of the environment, they've mastered not just the physical aspects of survival, but the mental resilience needed to thrive in a world of ice and snow. In the Arctic, survival isn't just about enduring the cold, it's about adapting, innovating, and relying on one another. Every aspect of Inuit life, from their expertly designed igloos to their carefully crafted clothing and strategic sleeping arrangements, is a testament to generations of knowledge passed down for survival. But above all, it's their sense of community that truly sets them apart. Through shared warmth, resourcefulness, and an unbreakable connection to one another, the Inuit have transformed one of the harshest environments on Earth into a home. Their way of life isn't just about staying alive, it's about thriving in a world where only the strongest, smartest, and most united can endure.